Well, I put some feelers out in the business community that in January I would be looking for work, and that I would, like to stay involved in some aspect of helping the city move forward. And Kevyn Orr approached me with this opportunity, and after careful consideration, I decided that my skill set was ideal for what he's asking me to do.
What is he specifically asking you to do?
To be a part of restructuring city departments, to try to close the gap between people, process, and technology. There's a huge gap. We've got great people, but they're working in bad processes. So I'm going to be charged with establishing internal controls to make sure that the processes are efficient and that they're actually working as intended.
You could be the bad guy here. You could be doing layoffs. You could be doing outsourcing.
Well, I wouldn't call it the bad guy. We're going to do what's necessary, absolutely. If we can't afford technology, I mean, there are three components here. There are people, process, and technology. If we can't afford technology, then we may have to outsource that. But we've got great people, and I think that if we fix the processes, they can work within the system and deliver a better level of service.
The problem in the city has long time been, for instance, the payroll system is antiquated.
Yeah.
Never worked from the day you bought the thing.
Right.
So how do you fix that if you can't afford the new technology?
Well, we're not going to fix it. We're going to outsource it to ADP. The contract is already out there. ADP is already working on it. They'll take over most of the payroll operations for all of city government. I mean, as you know, we have somewhere between 52 and 65 police officers doing timekeeping in the police department. So you outsource that to a company like ADP. My urgency is getting that up and running and getting it over to the contractors so we can get those city workers back doing other things.
There will be critics. The critics are going to come out and say you're jumping from 74,000 to 225. Granted, it's only about a 16-month job, but they're going to criticize you.
Well, I think
that you're a sellout.
Well, I'm enough with the name calling. Let's all just get in the same boat and row in the same direction and try to fix the problem. I think the salary is commensurate with what compliancy officers earn in the private sector when you're talking about a $1 billion corporation. So
will this allow you to do the kinds of cutting that you were talking about doing when you were at the table?
Well, it allows me to be an influential voice at the table when decisions are being made. And unlike being a voice at council where you need consensus of at least 5 members, I just have to convince Mr. Orr that that's the right direction that we go in.
But he's going to be focused on cutting the multi-billion-dollar deficit while you're handling restructuring.
Yeah, and that's you hit it right on the head. I mean, let's free him up. I have, a PhD in city government after being here the last 4 years and listening to citizens and watching dysfunctional government work. So I know what the problems are. I know how this building works, and I think I have an ideal skill set to make those changes.
What does this do for Mayor Bing? He's sort of being pushed out of this process, isn't he?
No, I mean, the emergency manager has clearly said the mayor is the mayor, the council is the council, keep operating as normal, and when you do something that he doesn't like, he'll stop you and go in another direction, but he's still the mayor.
Why you over him for this role?
Well, he's an elected official, just like I'm an elected official at City Council, and this is an appointment by the emergency manager, so I don't know that he would be willing to resign from being mayor and take the jobs.
There is the question in the city charter about your eligibility for a job in this building, because as I've read it, it's had something to do about a wait for a year before you come back and do something. Is this a violation of that or not?
Well, I don't know if it is or not, but I think that Kevyn Orr has the ability under 436 to go outside the charter if he deems necessary. So the legalities of it will be worked through. Nobody wants to violate the charter. We're going to try to work within it, but there are options to get around that.
When have you last talked to Charles Pugh?
I had a meeting with him last Wednesday.
Have you talked with him on the phone recently beyond that?
I had a meeting with him last Wednesday, and then I had a second meeting with him last Thursday where we were at SIMCOG. We're both on the executive board, and we had to place a vote. And then I've talked to him once, maybe twice since then on the phone, but not in the last 3 days.
So are you again concerned today? I mean, what, as the future restructuring officer and the president of the city council is nowhere to be found, I mean, where do you come down on all of this?
Yeah, I'm not concerned at all. Whether I'm here or Charles is here, the other members of city council are perfectly capable of moving forward with their jobs and their responsibilities. So it's not a concern whatsoever that even as many as 3 of us are gone.
But do you agree with Kevyn Orr with this ultimatum? Show up by 5 o'clock today or resign?
Well, I'm not sure that he gave an ultimatum. That's something that you would have to talk to him about. And
What do you think Charles needs to do?
well, I'm hoping that Charles will come to work today. He needs to be here tomorrow. We have some very important issues. I mean, there are personnel issues going on that are typically taken care of by the president. And if he's not here, that's a void. So I'm hoping that he'll be here, if not today, tomorrow.
And if he doesn't, should he resign?
I don't know the circumstances of why he's not here, so I don't want to comment on whether or not he should resign.
Okay, thanks.
Who's going to be paying your salary?
That's a good question. I'm not sure I know the answer to that.
Does it come out of the city coffers? I mean, where else would it come from?
It's a good answer. I don't know the answer to it, though.
What about the police department and their restructuring? Will you have-
Yeah, I want to be clear about this, that Chief Craig is driving all change at the Detroit Police Department. I'm a resource for him. He needs anything, then I'm going to try to get it for him. But he is clearly the one charged with driving change at the Detroit Police Department.
Was there any change in title? Did you go from restructuring chief to now compliance chief? Did you guys play with the title at all the last couple of days?
I did not, no. And I, quite frankly, have never been concerned with titles. I mean, the best title I ever had was coach of a little league team. I'm most proud of that. So, you know, I've never been concerned about the title, and I'm not concerned about it now. I'm concerned about my level of responsibility and influence in making decisions.
And my last question, Joanne Watson yesterday gave you some heat for sticking around here, knowing you're going to jump ship.
Sure.
Is there any
No,
validity?
I think she's wrong. I don't see any incompatibility with the 2 offices. I'm going to quit on the 31st. I'm going to start the new job on the 1st. And so I know how to put on my city council hat for the rest of this week, and I'll know how to take it off on the 31st.